Hey everybody, this is Chris with ORBTraders.com going over the September 3rd trade plan. So we have a red event starting out 30 minutes into the open. That's Jolt's job openings. That is the only red event for the day. Nothing else on the orange folders. Let's see what else we have. Thursday, several events before market and then after the market opens. And then Friday, we have a handful of red events. So just keep in mind what's coming and coordinate your trades around these data prints. So 30 minutes in the open job openings for tomorrow. So let's just jump right into, let's start with the NQ. So just a little recap. I don't want to go too in depth on this one, but the first 15 minutes of action today, we had decent range, 152.5 points after a pretty steep decline. I'm assuming this has to do with tariffs and the whole legal hold news that came out. And it's our first day, technically first full day. Monday, of course, was a holiday, so it was only half a day. So the Asia session had quite a bit of a squeeze and then continued lower, but the London session really sold off. We retraced most of that London session, but we never got all the way to the highs. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to jump right into setting some levels here. The first level that you see in blue, just go out to the 5-day, is the Friday high to today's low, which you have the fib zone here between 23,420s down to 23,270s. Curious if this area is going to hold overnight and we continue lower for targets down sub 22, so 870s. Otherwise, we could bounce up and hit those prior day highs set from Labor Day and break above there. But we'll just wait and see what happens. So let me just remove that fib draw and let's just get into the actual draws for tomorrow. Let me take this level out, take this out. And we're going to leave last week's low on there, last week's RTH low and overnight low. Those are going to stay on the chart. But our prior day low, we're going to move that. And I'm going to also remove this support. This is old support that I had after we broke down. This support was from August 20th. So we had a few touches now. That's 3 in that area, 2300s, low 2300s, that have all bounced above. We could break through those and go lower, and I would just be looking left for any continuation of sell side liquidity below. So moving the highlighted section to make it a little bit easier to see. On the 4-hour, let's go to the 4-hour here just to see what is below us. So there's some areas of support here. The easiest way to do this is just look left, higher time frames, look for any fair value gaps, such as this one down here. That looks pretty significant. And then we also have this guy here, but a lot of that has been tagged. So it looks like the low of today, we hit that back on the 20th and then bounced off of that on the 5th of August. And then below there, you had some support around the very beginning of August, so the 1st and the 3rd. So we may come back into this area where there's that fair value gap. Now, I didn't draw this to a T, so let me actually fix this. And this is a 4-hour fair value gap, so let's just go ahead and grab the high of this candle at 717.75s, and then the low of this candle down at 808.5. We'll extend that draw. This goes all the way back to the beginning of July. Can't believe it's already September. The summer has flown by us. Okay, so let's change this color here. So just keep that level in mind. There's a 4-hour fair value gap or poor structure, however you want to define that. unfinished business, etc. Going back to the 15-minute though, let's get this rolling for our levels tomorrow. So overnight open, we need to adjust that. Tonight, I should say, we opened up at 23,382s. So let's move this candle up here, or this line to this candle. So there's our open, and then our prior day high from Labor Day needs to be adjusted. I'm going to go with the close, the cash close. That is at 352.5. And sorry if you hear any noise behind me. That is my dog making noises with his mouth, as always. Let's see. So the high of that was 233.74 half. 233.74 half. We'll just update this just to say prior day. Oh, I'm messing this up. This is prior day high. So prior day high, I usually go with red. I grabbed the wrong level there. Here's that level. We'll turn the Labor Day prior day high into today's prior day low. Activate that. So that's down at 23.25 and a quarter. Okay. So we got the prior day low and the prior day high set. Kind of hard to see that. Let me throw last week's overnight on the left, so it makes it a little easier to see. And if we want to grab, because we had a pretty significant bounce as we passed through the London lows, we want to go ahead and grab the low of the session to the high of the session. Just keep that level in mind. You have this fib support zone. We'll see if this holds overnight. But also, like I was trying to say earlier, let's take the studies off. You have the high from Friday, but maybe better to just draw the last week high to this week's low, because there we can at least see this fib zone, 23,500s down to 23,320s. We're inside of that. Long targets for the current RTH are above us at the -23, -61, and -127%. But these low short targets, if this zone holds, which I can just put this here to make it a little bit easier to understand what I'm talking about. This would be the resistance zone on that fib draw. So when you go high to low, that's a short zone. Those targets are below at 22,836. There's that fair value gap that we were talking about. I'm actually going to remove that drawing and remove that drawing. And then you have the -127 down there even further. That's pretty far down. I don't know if we're going to get there or not, but it's just something to keep in mind. And we'll just see how the overnight action plays out. So for now, those are just to note. I'm going to take these off of the chart since I have those boxes already drawn. Make it a little bit easier to understand. This is a fib short support zone. This is a fib long support zone. We'll see where we open up overnight, or we'll see where we open up tomorrow and how overnight action presents itself come tomorrow and during that 8 a.m. print. I'm just going to set a reminder because today I was looking at the wrong date and I almost missed this. Jolts. We'll just do at the bottom. And then if we switch over to the ES, sorry, this is taking a while. It was already 10 minutes. Now we're moving on to the ES. There are probably a handful of levels I need to update on this since I have been primarily just looking at the NQ. So we have last week's low. I think I actually updated the majority of these levels for Labor Day, but let's just go ahead and fix this for tomorrow. So we need to update the prior day high, just like we did, and then the prior day low. Let me take this out. Which that zone that I just removed, this blue zone, this is a fib zone. This is a long fib zone from the lows of August. If we go to the 1 hour, let's go out to the 30-day. So August 1st to the 15th, that is this fib zone that has hit 4 times, and it has held, and the long target is 65.72. That's the first fib long target, and then it's 66.75. Above that is 68.51s. That is if we hold this, those would be the targets to look for. And the NQ broke this zone, but the ES has been holding this for a few weeks now. So I would just keep that in mind. I'm not going to remove that zone. I want to actually keep that there. Let me drop back down into the 15-minute. And let's just fix these other levels. So I was trying to drag the prior day low from Labor Day down to the prior day low of Tuesday, which the low on the ES was 63.71 3/4. And then our high was at 64.43 3/4. And that is still below the all-time highs. Those are above. There's the all-time high during the RTH session set at 65.23s. The other level that we want to update is our overnight open for the 9-3 session. Technically 9-2 going into 9-3. So the high is the open is 64.48. So we got our typical daily levels set. Prior day low, prior day high. Let me actually remove where it says Labor Day because that was over. We have our overnight open set. This fib zone, I want to keep this up, and then there is a fair value gap. That's this green area. If we go back even further on the trade plan, you can see where we drew that up, but I'll just show it here. This goes back to the 7th. I think this has to be a higher time frame. Is this a 30-minute? Yep, so that's a 30-minute fair value gap. I'm going to change this color. Let's just go like this, so we can still see that without that bright green blinding us. So okay, overnight open set, prior day high, prior day low. Last week's overnight low is technically right now it is below us. We did open up with a gap, so that's one thing I actually want to keep on the chart. The gap from Labor Day, even though it was only half a day, we do have a gap here. So at the close, we closed at 64.83s. I'm just going to call this the Labor Day gap. Mark that up, put this on the right. I think a lot of us know that gap downs, gap ups tend to get filled. Let me go ahead and actually fix that for the NQ. Labor Day gap. That is at 23.502.25s. So now we have our Labor Day gap up on both of the charts here. There was a fair value gap previously. I'm going to remove that. That's from last Friday. Price is already traded into that. And then on the 30-minute for the ES, you can clearly see a handful of fair value gaps. You've got one here. You've got another one being set here that price is clearly retracing back into. And then you've got another one way down here. Can't really see that because the green is covering it. And you got one here. So just keep these in mind. I don't know if I change these colors if you're actually going to see this. Yeah, no. They really should make a setting so you can bring drawings to the front, but I would just keep that in mind. And actually, I'm going to adjust this so it's only showing during the overnight hours. And I'm not going to draw these to the tick because we could. I just want to have a pretty rough estimate. And then pull this back a little bit into pre-market. And also just set that friendly reminder that 8 a.m. we have jolts. I'm not really sure why it says 8:19. The bottom, oh, I guess I'm too far forward. Will that work? There we go. No? that didn't work. You got to put every number in there. Okay. So again, strategy as always, let those 15 minutes form wherever it is, whether it's down here, whether it's up here, whether it's down here. Use these daily levels once you get a breaker and ask yourself, is a daily level in the way? Are the internals actually agreeing with the direction that you want to take that trade? Or when you get closer to a daily level, say the opening range is here and you start hitting this last week low overnight open, or sorry, the last week low during the overnight session, what if the internals start going the other way and that's not lining up with your trade? And where is the tick in relation to your trade? And I was saying earlier, I'm working on an ORB checklist. I was going to bring it up here, but let me see if I can just grab this really quick. I'll put this out in the Discord. This is a free checklist. There's a lot of details that are in here, but essentially prep, overnight price review, the opening range, building that out, what qualifies you to actually enter, your risk, your targets, what disqualifies. And this is just for my thought process. Adjust your opening range to your own thought process. If you are an ICT trader, if you're a volume profile trader, you can pair all this together to make it work for you. My strategy does not have to match to what your strategy is. Yours could be 100 times better than mine. So at the end of the day, to me, that's all that matters, is a strategy that works for you. The strategy that works for myself is mainly what I'm focused on, and I'm just trying to, again, educate people on a method they can try. If they don't like it, cool. Go find something that works. What I would say is give yourself time to test a strategy, not just a month. I would honestly give it 6 months. Or, if you want to be more conservative or switch over to something else, go 3 months. Give yourself some time, not just because, I did it for 30 days, but because there are different cycles throughout the season, throughout the year, different events that happen that impact the economy. And right now, as we go into September, being historically red, we might see some of the sell-offs, but we have changes going on, in the news all the time. And your experience during the current 30 days from, say, today until the end of the month can be different from your experience come December, or, going back to, say, April or February, whatever month it is. Those 30 days might be different, so your strategy might look different. And if you actually run one strategy for a whole year, it's going to help you collect the data. But of course, you can go ahead and backtest that on the various backtesting tools that there are. And I just wish you guys luck and want to share my levels like I do every day. So I'll go ahead and share this chart out. Sorry for my little tangent there, but I think everything's pretty much set for tomorrow. I'll be focused on the NQ. Personally, based on us bouncing, I really can't make any decisions, what's going to happen tomorrow. I want to see when I wake up and log in what happened during the Asia session, what happened during the London session. Did the London session take out any of the high or low levels from the Asia session? And what are our internals doing right when we open? Is there any news that comes out with the semis or any major equities that make up these indices? And we'll of course look at the Dow and the Russell to see where they're trading at. And I can also share out this equity study if this is something you're interested in. Totally free. It has all these indicators on here. Helps you with seeing the trend, seeing any potential support or resistance, but more importantly, seeing where their opening ranges are set. So that's going to be the trade plan that I've got for the September 3rd trading session. Hope to see you guys in the Discord. Check out orbtraders.com. If you are just swinging by and new, everything is free. You'll be directed over to a wap.com site where you can join my Discord. Sorry, my dog is now snoring behind me. You might see or hear some of that in the YouTube, but everything's totally free. Whatever resources in there, happy to help. Ask any questions in the community chat. Hope you guys have a great evening. Take care.